Hi, Nitin.
Hey, hello, Bharat. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you had wonderful day so far. With
Yes.
that, I'll hand over the mic to you.
Okay. Just a minute. I hope you are able to see me, and maybe let me share my screen.
Yes.
You're able to see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, now it is visible.
Great. It's a PPT screen, right?
Yes.
So let's get started. So good morning, good evening to all of the folks. Welcome to our bootcamp session 2.0, and we are on the 19th November 22. In this 2.0 session, I'm going to cover you the production order processing via mobile warehouse app. Basically, it's an emulator. So I like the feature which Microsoft has provided. It's called as an emulator. So whatever you configured in Dynamics app can be easily tested through the browser. You do not have to have a third-party device or maybe an application. You just test your functionality in the browser, and I believe that functionality is called the emulator. You also have the warehouse desktop app through which you can perform the activity, but then you need to configure that activity with the setups or maybe the server address and all those required parameters. So instead of going into that, I'll use the emulator, which is the mobile browser based functionality, and that will definitely give us an edge to try and error the setups, modules, or you can say the processes. And once we are good in the emulator after testing, we can directly use in the physical device or maybe in the desktop app. So today's session predominantly for the production order processing, and that simply means it's the production order or the manufacturing order which we execute in the Dynamics app. And as some of you or maybe all of you knows what is production, but yeah, before going into that, let me first introduce who am I. So I have 16 plus years of experience, 6 in actual manufacturing domain and 10 plus years in Dynamics. You can say 6 years in manufacturing and 10 years in IT. I have worked in various organizations like locking solutions, jewelry, automobile, pharma, and logistics. And I have completed the manufacturing functional consultant associate certification from D365. I basically worked as the manufacturing consultant, but along with that, I can handle the SM related activities because it's like hand on hand, or you can say both processes are working together. So I would say that I am capable to handle the SM related activities also. This is our the detailed structure of today's session. I have divided that session into 5 parts. The first would be the introduction. The next would be the prerequisites for the process. The third followed would be the setups that we should have for the process to get executed. Finally, we'll see the case study. The case study could be a hypothetical one, or could be a simple manufacturing, or could be a simple process. And then after seeing all those 4 sections, we are going to jump into the demo, which is directly into the D365 app. In introduction, what I'm going to cover is what is production process. I'm sure that you must have had in all your implementation or in business processes that there is a production. We are doing some producing things. So you may be aware of that, but let me give you a more clear picture, or you can say a gist of the production process, what we basically call as a manufacturing process or a production process. So production means a manufacturing process in which we convert one material, we basically call as raw material, into the another material, mostly finished goods or the sellable goods. We may have a WIP called as in semi-finished good also. So it's like converting one material into the another, specifically RM into the SFG, semi-finished or finished goods. We use, as I said, we use one material RM and the other is finished good. The process could be, the manufacturing process could be assembly process, or maybe a joining, mixing, cutting, finishing, painting, screwing, welding, or maybe a refilling, whatever a physical activity we do on the one material to make it eligible for to be as a finished material. It could be as simple as a packing also. So all those we call as a production or a manufacturing process. There are many more complex manufacturing process, but I'm just taking care of the simplest one to get you the understanding of how we can differentiate or define the manufacturing process. The process could be a discrete or a process, but then how discrete and process is differentiate that if any process is kind of a reversible process, then we simply call it as a discrete process. Otherwise, we call this as a process engineering process. So discrete means anything like a packing, or maybe you can say a screwing, assembly, or maybe a welding, which we can dismantle the components. That easily can be considered as a discrete one. But in process industry where we are mixing, combining, joining, and the output could not be the reversible one, because if we try to reverse it, we may not able to get the actual raw materials. So it's kind of a non-reversible process. So such type of processes we call as a process manufacturing process, like a high level distinguish factor between the discrete and the process manufacturing. The next point is the finished item we call as the child item, because that's the item we get produced, and the consumable item or the raw material is called the parent item, because from which we create the finished good. The relationship of parent to child can be established via a BOM or a formula. So we have BOM and formula in FNO. BOM basically used for the items or for the processes where we use a discrete type of manufacturing. And if the manufacturing stands under the process, we are going to use the formula as the list of ingredients for the child and parent item relationship. There is one more concept called as a route or maybe a route, which describes that how raw material is getting converted into the finished product. It's like the actual manufacturing process, a physical activity which we perform on the material to get it converted into the finished good. And then how that each and individual steps is mentioned in a process that we call as a route or a route, and that we can define in the route form in the FNO section or FNO ERP. In the ERP or in the D365, BOM and formula is mandatory if you want to execute or if you want to use the production order or batch order, whereas route is an optional. We can skip the route, or maybe we could not even have the route for an item, but to execute the production order, the BOM or formula would be the must requirement. Now, as we have seen the product, like whatever it may be the process, we basically start with the item creation, because item is the source of the ERP processes. So now we jump into the second section, which is called as a prerequisites. The prerequisites are more or less similar to the SCM requisites, because as I said, SCM and productions are working hands in hand. Only production has some specific features or functionality that we use. Otherwise, the standard SCM process can also be get executed. But yeah, as the both processes are interlinked, so obviously the setups and masters regarding to both processes are similar. I have just noted down the important factors, or you can say the minimum required fields or factors that must be there to get available or to get used to the production order. The first one is the item. The item must be, or the product must be an item type. We cannot use a product type service in the production order, because service is like an intangible item. How we can create a tangible process for that intangible item? So obviously the product type must be the item type. The crucial difference between the form or BOM or formula is lying in the production type field, which you can see in my screen as a formula planning, production type as a BOM or formula. So that defines that item would have a bill of material or would have a formula. What I believe, by default, when we create an item, system assigns a value which is also BOM. That does not mean you have to define the BOM, but it enables you to define the bill of material for that item. But if you want to define that item, or if you want to specify that item as an process manufacturing item, then you must have to change this production type from BOM or BOM to formula, which allow you to create the formula ingredient bunch instead of BOM ingredient bunch. System will disable the BOM form and enable the formula form for that particular item master. Now, these are the pretty standard, or you can say the requisites for the warehouse management app or the warehouse functionality, which is the storage dimension. We have a different types, or we can have different types of storage dimensions, but to enable the, or to use to have the warehouse management functionality, we should have a storage dimension where the storage management process is enabled. You can see on my top right side where I have activated a WMS as a storage dimension. So that enables the system, or that enables the warehouse or the transactions related to that warehouse would be used or can be used and as the WMS process, where you can see all those required dimensions has been made as an active, like site, warehouse, location, inventory status, and license plate. At the bottom, you can see the formula. Rather than formula, I would say a bill of material or BOM area, BOM version area, and the BOM should be active and approved. It should not that you have created a BOM, but then that BOM or a bill of material is not activated or approved. I'm not going into detail of the bill of material, because as we are processing the production order, that simply means that we know what is bill of material is the list of content or raw materials that we are going to use, and also how we can define it. We at least should have the basics of that. That will make you easy to understand the production process. So the second prerequisite is we should have the BOM or formula that must be active or approved. Moving to the next. This is just you can see the complete or the minimum values an item must have, where you can see on my right hand side I have highlighted 4 areas, which is a tracking dimensions. Either it should be a batch control or serially controlled. Item model group of FIFO, you can use any of it. It does not restrict you to use any model group, but yeah, as these are the basic requirements that item should have to be used as an as in the transaction. So I have highlighted all those things. Reservation hierarchy is one of the primary requisites of warehouse management process, though it may not be used in the production process, because it may not be used, as I said, because it basically required for the sales dispatch. But yeah, as it's the required step, so I'm going to or we have to set the reservation hierarchy for that item, and you can see here at the storage dimension group, which is mentioned as an where. The next thing in the setup is unique sequence group. That unique sequence group is again into the release product master under the warehouse tab in the physical dimensions. That simply defines that what that individual item unit is. Now this unit basically do not has much importance than the inventory unit, purchase or sales unit, but because it will allow you or it will show you the unit during the WMS process execution. Because if you do not mention any unit sequence group here, system won't allow you to process the items, because system won't understand what inventory unit that follows. So to link the actual inventory dimensions to the WMS process dimensions, we should define the unit sequence group according to the item units we define in the item master. There are a few more setups which also requires like mobile device menu items and mobile device menus. Basically, the WMS process which I'm going to execute is not the highly complicated. You can say it's pretty basic. Initially, when I was in the process that we have to use a WMS, means it's require a huge setup. You have to do this and that. May not be that useful for a smaller organization, because only few people are working there, but then we require a huge setups, a huge discipline. But then I think that was a myth from my side. But then when I explored the functionality, I said, yeah, it's pretty good, and we can explore the available functionality, and that will also give us the leverage to use the D365 different aspects which suits our business and which help us to get aligned with the huge business processes. So I have selected very basics and important things, which is the mobile menu device. This device or the menu item, it's simply the menu items which we see in the mobile app. Like for example, if we see or if you open any mobile app, we see a different menu, maybe a setup or maybe information or maybe transactions, or could be activity menu. So all those menus can be defined in this menu item, mobile device menu items, and what that individual menu should perform can be controlled in the general tab, where you can see I have selected a few of the setups, whether it should generate a license plate, it should follow work template. Work template means what exact trigger it should follow, what work creation process it will follow, it will has. So basically it's like a terminology called as a low code, no code. So all those coding or all the logics is already inbuilt into the system. We have to just make sure that which of the available functions is best suited for our current business and how we can use the maximum of those. So I just did all those things with really no setup at all, or you can say a minimum setup at all, where you should not require any coding knowledge. You just have to configure whatever available in the system. So once you're done with the mobile menu items, you have to define the primary menu. So for example, if you log into the screen, how the screen should appear, what menu it should be available in the menu item. So you can see at the bottom, it says as a mobile device menus, where I just mentioned as a small production. And these are in the left hand side, these are the different menu items which are available in the menu masters or menu item masters. But in the right hand side, I have selected only few. So once I log in into the system, my home screen would show as a small production. And then I would only see the four options, which could be a movement, the production start, RAF, which you can see at the here, which I configured. And the next one is the log off. So that's it. The four menu item I can see in my mobile device setup. The other thing is like, as I said, a work template. So now work templates means what exactly activity I am doing when I'm triggering a specific function, what system should do. So the work template is already there. I just need to use this specific function. The work class ID, which I mentioned as an FG put away, means once the goods is ready, it should be put away into the FG area. And this is the work order type, which is finished goods put away. What it should do. This is my work template, which is 24 finished goods, which you can see on the top screen, which I mentioned as in work template 24 finished goods. What I define that 24 finished good is, first system should automatically pick the goods, and then automatically it put the goods into the different area or the locations into the warehouse. Now that I have defined, but then I need to define that from which warehouse, from which location, or do you require a specific item to get picked? So all those things can be defined into the edit query function, where I just simply define that put or pick all the items which stands in the warehouse 24. That's it. So whatever items we do have or we do want to process in warehouse number 24 should follow this process called as a pick and put. This is the hand in hand process. So if you have to throw it, somebody has to catch it. So these two must be there. Pick and put should always be there. We cannot only have a pick or only put. These two always be there into the warehouse template. The last setup is the user. Obviously, it's like we are triggering something into the system. So once we start or once we do the report as finished, system does some report or raw material consumption, or it will inventory our goods. So obviously that will hit some of the transactions related to the inventory, and obviously that must get recorded with the user. And for that reason, we require a warehouse user or a worker to be attached over here. You can see I have created the mobile worker or a user which is called which is with my name, which is from the employee master, and this is the username. For example, if you may have a service user as the employee available, and then you want different users to use it, maybe demo user 1, demo user 2, or maybe temporary user 1, temporary user 2, 3, 4. So all those users can be attached to the same worker, and you may assign different types of activities to that. But in this case, as I said, it's very simple setup. What I did, I just attached my user and then create an ID as 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, the username is my name, and I'm only eligible to use the activity which is related to the warehouse number 24. And what menu item I'm going to use is the small production menu item which I already created in my previous setup. Great. So that's not all the setup, but yeah, as the major setups we should have into the WMS. Yes, as per the business scenarios and complications and the requirements, we can define the different, or we can go use the available functionality which best suit to our business requirement. The next point in our section or the slide is the scenario. Here we are going to understand what is scenario, and then we are going to use that scenario as an business process and see how that business process is getting executed into the D365. So let's understand that my company is FMCG company and which wants to market, or which wants to launch a new product, a new hair oil in the market. But before launching that new hair oil in the market, they just want to have the pilot run with their field service manager, or maybe their available locality. They just want to use as a pilot, maybe sell as in samples to find out whether is it suitable or is it matching the requirement of the newer customers. So to do that, to do the pilot process or selling the sample items, what organizations want to do is they basically refilling the bulk hair oil which they produced, that they produce in a huge containers or maybe they will purchase, or maybe whatever manufacturing process they follow for the bulk item, they will first do it, but then they will use that huge container to refill the smaller bottles. Could be any small bottle which you can see in our grocery shop or anywhere, that it's a sample bottle. It may not be sold separately. Such type of sample bottles they use, maybe 50 ml, 100 ml, 25 ml, whatever container small bottles they want to use. So basically they refill from bulk item to the small item, and that items will be given to the sales manager, to our area manager to sell it. So obviously initially the cost would be zero. So yeah, that's the reason I have not set anything regarding costing for that item, or maybe we may not able to get the cost for that. But yeah, obviously as it's an item, so we should have a minimum cost setup attached to that item, which that I have already done. Now to achieve this, what we are going to do, we are going to use a simple production process which just refill the small empty bottles from the bulk containers. Now in that case, the organization wants to track that consumption of bulk item, as well as they want to track the small labels into the batches, or maybe an individual separate bottles or stickers. So in that case, what we are going, as you may heard that it's a liquid type of product, we may not be able to get it reversed to the raw material. So we can consider this as a process item or process manufacturing. But yes, we can, as I said, we can still leverage the functionality of bill of material, because it's just simple refilling process. So in that case, the item would have a batch because they should define the batch in which batch they are produced, and they also want to track the individual bottles, the small bottles which they are going to give as a sample into the market. So instead of using serial number for the individual bottle, we would use a license plate and attach that license plate sticker to that bottle. That individual license plate becomes the serial number for that item. So by that way, we get the individual bottle as well as the batch ID to be attached into the bottle or the sample bottle which we are selling. So what I did, I just configured the bill of material and the or the minimum setup which requires for AWM or advanced warehouse management process to get executed. With no route, as I said, route is not compulsory and they do not want to track the integrity, or you can say a small a minimum activities which can be defined in route, and obviously the costing also. So great. After getting understanding the parameters and scenario, let's jump into the Dynamics app and see how that process can be get executed into the system. So I hope you may be able to see my screen. This is the D365 application screen. Let me first minimize this. I'm not sure how I'm not able to do it, but anyway, let me do it. Okay, so this is how our Dynamics home screen, rather than home screen, I would say a list production or a list page. But before doing that, let me go into the home screen of D365. So we directly start executing the production process. The execution of production process from start from the creation, and then we'll do the start process, which is one of the status, or you can say a step of the production process. And then finally we do the RAF, or report as finished. So start and RF we will perform through WMS emulator, but the creation of the process can be done through the D365 app. So what I'm going to do, I will go into the production module, and then I will create the all production, or I will select the all production orders form. Here you can see the existing production orders are available, which are on the multiple status or stages. So in this scenario, I have created the item, the formula, or you can say the BOM, and I already set all those things. The sample item for our case is H601, which you can see as hair oil 100 ml sample. From here you can see hair oil 100 ml sample bottles. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new production order. So let's start and create it. I will just copy paste that item, and then I will hit the tab. System automatically pulls the name. You can select this site, or you can directly insert the warehouse and then hit the tab. System will automatically give us a pop-up and ask, or you want to insert the active versions of bill of materials and route. This is the important factor, active versions. As I said, the bill of material must be approved and active. Why those are active, approved and active? To enable the system to automatically fetch the approved versions during the creation of production orders. Secondly, this will also help in the MRP or manufacturing run. System will automatically understand which are the active versions and then automatically calculates the raw material requirements. So that is the main reason you should have all the BOM or formulas must be active and approved. I will click on yes. Once I click yes, the BOM number will auto filled over here. You can see here, and the site will also get populated automatically. In this case, you do not need to mention any batch number, location, inventory status, or license plate. Now, let's take an example of two pieces. I'm going to produce two quantity of 100 ml hair oil sample bottles, and I will click on create. Once I click on create, you can see the new order got created with number 262, and the status is in created and the quantity is 2. Now that can be done from the office if you have a small R&D division where you just wanted to perform the manufacturing operations. So you in the office, you may perform all those activity to create, or maybe a shop floor supervisor will follow the creation of production process, And then then he will notify the shop floor person to perform the required activities on the production order, and then process the production order via the mobile warehouse app or via the handheld device they have. But in this case, what we are going to use, we are going to use the emulator, which is the replica of the handheld device or warehouse app. But instead of having physical device or physical app, we are going to use the browser based functionality. So what I'm going to do, I'm just duplicate this tab, and to enable the emulator, we have to just update the address. This is my USMF is the organization, and MF is the first area. After the equal sign, we have to insert the action colon WHS. You need not need not have to remember this. I already what can I say, copy pasted the address for emulated. It says that action colon WHS work executive. That's the common address for all the emulators. So you have to just insert that over here and then hit enter. Once you hit enter, it will take you to the login screen. You can see this is the login screen, which is similar to any other application login. This is the application name. And you have seen that in my setup, I have created user ID as 1234. This is 12345. I will insert it. The password, which system will automatically prompt during the creation of the process. But in this case, I have simply set the password as a 54321, the opposite of the user ID, and I will hit login. Once I hit the login, you can see the menu items which are shown in the PPT, like small production item is the header of my menu item, and 4 menu items like inventory adjustment, production start, report as finished only, and log off. These are the only 4 options I can see. You can configure these as as many as possible, because all those functionalities are available over there. Now, as I said, we are going to do the start of the production order from the WMS or from the emulator and then do the RF. There are many different statuses of the production order, from created to the estimated to the scheduled, released, start, bill of material consumption, or maybe picking list posting, all those are things. But these are interlinked to each other. There is setup in production model. We can interlink all those things. So start is, let's say, maybe a third or fourth state in the production order. So even though I jump on directly on the 4th stage, what system will do? System will perform its own activity automatically. It will perform the scheduling, releasing, all those, or maybe operation scheduling, all those estimations and all those prerequisites or pre-steps which are before the start. System will automatically perform those and will update the production order status to the start. But yes, for that we have to do a setup in production model parameter that system should perform all those functions in a sync, even though I jump into the future state or 4th or 5th state of the production. Now, why I mentioned only start and RF, because these are the critical, or you can say, I would say, a must status of the order. So start means basically that does not do anything into the physical activity. It will just update the status of the order to the start. But yes, Dynamics has the provision whether do you really want to consume your raw material in the beginning of the process? Do you want to consume the route consumption? If you have the route in the beginning, then obviously you can do that, and that functionality is available in the start. So either you can disable or you can cannot do any functionality in D365 related to consumption of material or consumption of route. You can disable those, or you can not activate those. But you want to activate those functionality in the start, then yes, you have to configure is that what action system should trigger when I click the start button. In this case, what I did, when I click the start button, system should understand, system should consume the raw material and post the picking list journal. But obviously system would understand from which warehouse, what is the batch, what is the the quantity I need to pull up from the warehouse. So yes, that we have to define before clicking on the start. But yes, we'll see that do not try to imagine how the system will do that. Let's see into the system. What I'll do, I'll first click on the start button, which is in production start. In this case, I will just copy paste this number, or either if I have a handheld device, I will mention as a scan option. The scan option will appear here, and then I will insert this order manually or maybe by scanning. I will hit OK. Once I did OK, it shows that this is the item ID. This status by default it says once the system or once the order get created, the status of that inventory will become as an available. The quantity you can see, and this is the unit each. This unit each is the unit which we have defined in the unit sequence group of an item, which is unit sequence group, and that is the reason you can see each available over here. So what I will do, I will click on OK. And you can see work completed. That's it. I do not see anything what happened into the system. Let us go into the actual area and refresh this page. Once I refresh this page, you can see the status is changed to scheduled. But what I want, the system should change the status to started. Yes, system didn't do that because started has its own functions to be performed. What functions it will perform, I'll show you. You have two options. Either you can do the starting of the order from the web app or from the app directly, or you can do through the emulator or maybe mobile warehouse action. So what I will do, I will again paste the same order, and this time I will say now start the order. It will again pull out the same information. I will click on OK. This time it says the production order has just released. It could not be started because the specific dimensions for the packing list consumption is not mentioned. Obviously, how system will understand from where I do have to consume the raw material. That's the functionality I set into the start button. So what we'll do, we'll go into the application, and we'll just open the production order and the bill of material. In this bill of material, I'll say that this is my raw material. Raw material means just 100. You can see it's a unit is liter and it's a say 0.1. It means for one piece of finished good, I required 100 ml or 0.100 liter of raw material. This is my raw material HRA. This is fine. The BOM has already pulled the exact material, but I would say that from which batch. So what I will do, I will select a batch which has the inventory. So this is the batch. The location is bulk because this is warehouse management activity. I will choose the bulk as a location, and this is the batch. So I'm explicitly mentioning that this is the batch, and from this location you have to consume the raw material. I will save the bill of material. This bill of material is only related to production order, not the master bill of material, because you can see the BOM itself is as production order. It means this BOM is related to this production order only. I will save this. Okay, great. Then I will again go into the production order form, into the emulator. And what I will do, I will again try to click the start button, and then I will click OK. You can see the work has been completed. Let me see whether the system has changed the status to started. Yes, you can see the system has changed the status to started. What I set into the start button, I will show you in the general. I said that start the production order. Yes. Change the status to started. Yes. Show the journal info. Yes. If it is does, just let me know whether the order is started. For the route card, I said nay, never. It means it will do not act anything on the route. Obviously, I do not have the route, but as this is the setup, I'll set that okay, have the route card, but do not do anything on that. And in the picking list, you can see the journal picking list journal should be as an pick. It should always perform an activity. What activity? Post the picking list now. It means once I hit the start button, system will change the status of the order to start and then post the picking list. So that functionality I already set into the start button, and because of that, when I hit the start on the emulator, system has started the order and has created and posted the picking list journal. We can see that picking list journal from the view tab in the journals picking list. We can see that picking list journal with the name pick with the line 1 has been posted, and once I click on that, it will show that This is the raw material. You can see here with the quantity of 0.2 liter. Because for one piece it is consuming 0.1. So obviously for two piece it will take the 0.2. So that simply does that consumption of raw material is done. Now the final activity is you have to report that quantity as finished. It means you are good to have the physical available material in the inventory. Here at this point, we only consume the raw material. The last step is we want to inventory the finished good. Yet we are not inventory this finished good, which is H6 times 0001, which is 100 ml sample bottle of hair oil. For that, what we'll do, we'll again copy the same production order, and then we'll again insert the same order in the production. But then you can see it's a production start. That doesn't work. Let's cancel this. Go into the main menu, choose the report as finished function, insert the batch ID, hit OK. It will pull out the item ID, item name. It will pull out the quantity, the unit, and the batch ID. The advantage of using that, you do not have to create the batch number itself into the dynamics before choosing any value here. Whatever value you mention here, system will automatically create that number or batch ID into the dynamics once we hit the OK button. So that is the, the good functionality I like over here. But in this case, instead of having the quantity 2, you just have to select 1 because this is 1 as an individual piece. So you have to, careful during the RF function. Here I will mention as a batch, maybe I will say B. It's a today's date. Maybe that would be the process which we are following, which is 19/11/22, maybe it has 01. The end button, I will show you what is the use of end job. Then after entering the required data, I will hit OK. You can see the LP will auto get filled. Once I hit OK, license plate, as I said, the individual sticker which we are going to stick on that item or a bottle will be the license plate. Can be used as a serial number also. And then I will hit OK. Once I hit OK, great. System says that work is completed. Let's go and see what happens into the dynamics. You can see the quantity is still 2. Report has finished. Report remainder means that much quantity is left. But once I hit refresh button, you can see the only one quantity is left to be posted because one we already post. We'll follow the same process. I hit OK. Quantity will appear obviously because one is only left. So system has only pull out the report remainder quantity, that is 1. Again, a batch, definitely the batch number will be the same. So I will again have the same batch number, which is 19/11/22-01. Again, I'll click OK. New LP will generated, which is 338. Now this time you have to click on the yes. Yes means this is the final item of my whole production order. And after that there is no other item to be reported as finished against this order. So in that case, you have to hit yes button. But then there is an advantage of having using this button in this menu item. Accidentally, if you click yes in between completing the complete order of the complete quantity of the order, you will be in the trouble. So either you do not have this option to be available here, or if you want to maintain it over here, then you have to be an extra cautious. Let's assume that we will not have that function available over here. What will happen? So, but physically, we know this is the final item to be finished. I will just click OK. System says work completed. Great. I will cancel this option. I will come back to the menu item, go into the dynamic system, hit the refresh button, and you can see report remainder is 0. Total quantity is done. But now the status is still remain as a started. Why it is started? Because I have not chosen end or yes as an option for the report as finished. No worries. You can still come into the dynamic system and then just hit the report as finished button. There you do not have to do anything. You have to just click on the OK button. And you can see system says that report as finished, journal of so and so has been posted and the status is changed to the report as finished. That's it, done. Now the order is completed, at least from the manufacturing process. Final state is end. We are not going to do as an end because that will, reflect the costing, but we are not going to maintain or see the costing. So no use, no need to do as an ending. Once we do the RF, we are going to see our inventory to be available for this item of that 2 license plate with the same batch. But before that, let me show you what system did, what journal system posted. So for that, click on the view. In the journals, I will click on all. You can see the picking list journal. We did one picking list, which is great. 2 report has finished, rather 3 report has finished. This 2 is first from the mobile emulator for first quantity, second for the mobile emulator for the second quantity. But what is third? Third says that is the report has finished function done via the system to make or to change the status of the order as a report has finished. But then that creates a complication that then we did posted 3 quantity. No, what system did? System just created, or sorry, posted an RF journal with 0 quantity or with no quantity. You can see there is no quantity. It means it just posted a RF button, RF journal to change the status. So the last RF journal is just sake for changing the status of the order, but first 2 are the one which actually did the report as finished. You can see the goods quantity for 1 and for the same with the second. So that shows that what system does when we actually do emulator process, same process which system does when we do it from the uh, from the D365 app. Finally, let's see how the quantity is appearing for the finished good. What I'll do, I'll click on the production order and click on the transactions. So once I click on the transaction, you can see I have received against 262 item number this for today's date with the quantity 111, and these are the inventory dimensions. You can see the site, warehouse, batch number all remains same, but the license plate or the individual bottle, you can also consider the serial number is different. That simply means we do have received 2 1 by 1 individual quantity of the hair oil 100 ml sample bottle with these 2 license plate, and then we are good to use these 2 items in our sales process to dispatch that goods to our sales coordinator or sales representative. And saying that this completes our whole demo with our whole processes, and I would like to open the question answer session if we have anything on this topic.
Yeah, thank you, Nitin. It was a wonderful session. I think we are already exceeded the time, but maybe we can spend 1 minute. We have one question being asked by Balaji Chandrasekhar. So the question is, I will read it for you. What is catch weight, and how different will be warehouse process be if an item has CW enabled?
Okay, great. So that's altogether a new concept, rather than new concept, a different concept. I have never come across any businesses where catch weight is required, but I would give you an example where catch weight is just an physical material handling unit which may not have any specific size, weight, or other than you can say a physical size or weight. So for example, if we have any fish, maybe one crate, or maybe let's say a bananas, a 1 crate banana. So maybe in 1 crate banana we may have, let's say, a 50 kg, or maybe we can get 49 kg, but that the quantity which we are selling on the basis of crates, so that we cannot define that crate as a specific quantity of bananas or maybe a fish, but because we are selling and in the crates, so in such scenarios we used catch weight as an option, where we just define that one catch weight for that item, and then it differently follows the all inventory units or the transaction units in the catch weight functionality. Now, as I said, I never worked in their industry, and I believe WMS may have the functionality to understand the catch weight, because we can see that available functions in catch weight, but I have never explored, because just now I have started exploring the warehouse management, and I started with the simplest one. So I may not able to give you the answer or the expected answer for you, but yes, I would just only say that catch weight is the different altogether inventory or the transaction unit, which may not get easily mapped with the standard inventory or the unit conversions which we have in Dynamics.
Yeah. Thank you, Nitin. Maybe I would request you to share your LinkedIn page so that people can
Definitely.
post your questions. We will take 1 more minute. There is one more question. I think we'll let wrap it up quickly. The question is from Shivashankaran. The moment it is RAF, whether it will reflect in on hand for raising sales order or not?
Yes.
Or is there any additional input required?
No. RAF simply means you have reported that quantity as unfinished. So RF itself inventoried the quantity. It's like when we do a purchase receipt. So when we do a registration, rather than registration, a purchase receipt or product receipt. So at that moment, we can see the inventory available once you do the product receipt. Same way is the product receipt, but with the help of production order. So RF itself a product receipt concept. And you can see that inventory available and you can directly use it for the sales.
Yeah, I think Nitin, these were the questions. Thanks for your session. It was wonderful.